Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. Saskatchewan is reporting 2 new cases of COVID-19, one in the far northwest and one in Saskatoon, bringing the provincial total to 1,611. 3 people are in hospital, 2 of them in intensive care, 44 cases are considered active, and 1,543 people have recovered. The Thorpe Recovery Centre is extending a challenge to Lloydminster residents for the month of September as a fundraiser for the centre. Eric Bay has more.
Well, September is rapidly approaching, and I'm joined today by Sarah Fox with the Thorpe Recovery Center. Sarah, thank you for your time here today. And you guys are about to kick off your Sober September campaign. Can you just give me a little bit of background on the campaign?
Absolutely. So Sober September started 5 years ago when we wanted to do a different kind of campaign that stood out in the community that also had a really big impact. We see a lot of runs, and there's the muck run and glow runs and all that, and we felt like we didn't want to get lost in another gala or run. So we thought Sober September would be a really good fit and in line with what we do here at the center. So it's a twofold campaign. We have the awareness piece of bringing to light the stigma that's around addiction and a lot of the struggles to live in recovery, and also the fundraising piece to help the center continue to help more people.
And now people will be giving up something for the entire month of September. What was the importance of just having people or showing people what it's like to go without something for that period of time?
Yeah, well, giving up something it takes daily effort, especially for those who are giving up for the month coffee. Imagine starting a day without coffee. It's something that's a part of your routine, it's a part of your lifestyle. And for those who are living in recovery, they have to make those conscious efforts every day to not use their drug of choice or substance. And that's a lot of what the campaign is supposed to highlight, is that you have to really work to live in recovery, and with the stigma and the attitude that you can just give up drinking, it's fine, just stop. It's not that easy, and you need support from programs like what we offer, and also from the community to live a life in recovery.
And with that, people can give up whatever they feel will be challenging for the entire month of September, right?
You don't have to give up alcohol for the month. Everybody's picking something that would be a challenge for them. Myself, I'm giving up alcohol and sugar, and I think sugar is probably going to be a harder one. And yeah, so other people are giving up coffee, junk food. What else do we have? I think those are the main ones: sugar, coffee, junk food, and alcohol. As long as it's a challenge, we'll accept it.
And now if people do want to get involved with the campaign, take up the monthly challenge, how can they do so?
They can sign up either through our website, there's a link, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram, and the links are there as well. And it will direct you to make your own fundraising page. And you can also sign up as a team. So as a family or as a business, you can sign up, challenge each other, call a rival family, not a rival family, a rival business out in the community to take up the challenge as well, and start from there.
And also, just once again, you bring up the funds. What are those funds going to be used for after they are raised here at the end of the month?
So the funds are going to go towards our capital campaign. One thing that we are dealing with at the center is a mortgage. We've been here for 8 years, and we're still dealing with about a $5 million mortgage. And so if we can make that a smaller amount, we can use those funds for other things like developing our programs, helping more people. And it's not a glamorous fund, but it has such a huge impact on what we do here at the center.
All right, Sarah, best of luck on the campaign. We appreciate your time here today. Thank you.
Now we're Connor Tan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Taking a look at temperatures right now, a little bit warmer than it was yesterday, sitting at 20 degrees right now. We'll get to that 19 to 20 degree mark for the evening, but a little bit more sun than we saw yesterday, but 20 degrees right now is currently what we are seeing. As we take a look into other areas right now, as my screen continues to be a little bit frozen, there we go. Take a look at some other areas right now, 21 in Vermilion, Vegreville, 22 also for Edmonton. 22 you also see in St. Paul, and 20 degrees in Cold Lake and in Marwayne and Lac La Biche as well. 21 we see in Provost right now, and Macklin sitting at 23 degrees right now. North Battleford we see sitting at 20, along with St. Walburg, and then Meadow Lake we see at 18 degrees. So here's a look at the satellite radar map right now. Not a whole lot of activity for the next coming hours or so, not compared to what we saw yesterday. So we just see a little bit of cloud coverage there in that Edmonton area, and then maybe just a little bit of there in that Vegreville, a little bit outside of the Marwayne area as well, where we could see just a little bit maybe of some rain. Take a look right now overnight in North Battleford. 10 degrees overnight with 25 degrees tomorrow with mostly cloud coverage. And then as we go into Cold Lake for tomorrow, as it catches up here a little bit there, as it's just a little bit delayed. We will probably see the same temperatures for Cold Lake for tomorrow as well, as it kind of takes its time here, but we will see possibly some temperatures kind of similar to us here in Lloydminster. We could see possibly about 20 some degrees for tomorrow, as my computer still is a little bit not catching up to me, but we will have a fairly warmish weekend with some cloud coverage and mixing there, as we see Cold Lake 11 degrees overnight to 17 tomorrow, 18 for us tomorrow, and then this is what it looks like for the next 3 days. 18 for Saturday, 14 on Sunday, and then 17 degrees on Monday. That's a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Welcome back. Cheerforce Jets, a cheerleading gym located in Cold Lake, has expanded to Lloydminster. Jace Mackey spoke with the owner to get a preview before the gym opens next week.
So I'm joined today with Viola Holden. She is the owner of Cheerforce Jets, a cheer gym located in Cold Lake and now soon to be located here in Lloydminster as well. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today, Viola.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for meeting with me.
So just starting off today, I know we spoke before about fundraising when it came to getting some new equipment here in Lloydminster, and now soon you'll be able to open the doors officially on Wednesday. So can you just tell me a little bit of the backstory about how we got to where we are today?
So Cheerforce started in 2017 here in Cold Lake. We operated our first 2 seasons out of a gymnastics club here, and then the program grew too large for the gymnastics club, so we opened our own gym here in Cold Lake last year. We grew to about 200 athletes, and then back in March I was contacted by some parents in Lloydminster who had just found out the previous cheer gym there was closing. And they wanted a plan, of course, to keep their kids involved in cheerleading. And expanding to Lloydminster was something I had wanted to do previously, and then I kind of put that on hold when the other club moved there. So I was really excited to help them out, and now we've got the building, we've got our equipment, we're finishing up with the setup this weekend, and we'll be ready to go for our team placements on the 2nd.
And kind of around March is when you really started to prepare to open and begin this undertaking of opening a gym here in Lloydminster, and that was kind of a difficult time with COVID and everything. So what was it like kind of opening and expanding your business during a time when there was a lot of uncertainty?
It was a little nerve-wracking, that's for sure. I've had a lot of support though, so that's really helped. The families in Lloydminster have been really great. I found an amazing program director that's going to be working full-time at the Lloydminster location, as well as a few other staff that are there. And we all just kind of got together. We wanted to keep the kids in the sport. Cheerleading is a special place. Like, everybody involved is really passionate about the sport. So I know I couldn't sit by and watch 80 girls not have a place to cheer. So we were excited to get a plan in motion. And when you've got athletes that really want to do the sport and they've got amazing supportive parents, and you've found coaches that know what they're doing and are ready to start the program, then everything kind of just went into place from there.
And you talked about getting support from the community, being able to get coaches and stuff like that. I remember when we spoke before, it was kind of midway through, you were doing a Father's Day raffle. What was it like just to be able to get the support from the community here in Lloydminster?
It was really great. We've definitely been welcomed into the community, and we've got a lot of kids signed up already and ready to go. So it's been great.
And you'd mentioned, cheerleading as a sport. And I think a lot of people, when they think of cheerleading, they might think of like pom-poms and stuff like that. But I have a sister in cheerleading. I know there's a lot of physicality, and it's a lot more than that. So can you just talk a little bit about, the sport of cheerleading?
Absolutely. So you will not find pom-poms in our gym or megaphones. We don't do chants or cheer on other teams. It's a sport in and of itself. The girls train in boys. We have boys in our program as well, but the athletes train all season from September through to April for their competitions. And we travel throughout Alberta and Saskatchewan to compete against other teams. So the sport consists of acrobatic stunting. So they work in groups of 2 to 4 people throwing one another up in the air, and they'll do lifts and twists and dismounts and tosses and that sort of thing. And there's also a tumbling component, which is similar to gymnastics, what the skills that they do in floor routines, but it's all synchronized. So there will be athletes tumbling at the same time and across the floor and in patterns. And then there's jumps and dance. So the routines are between 1.5 minutes and 2.5 minutes long, depending on the level of competitiveness. And it's really fast paced. It's quite intense, and it really is a good workout. So yeah, they compete in, we're going to 5 competitions this year for our elite teams and 3 for our novice and prep teams, which are kind of the introductory level. And they can get to compete against teams that are the same age and skill level. And it's a really exciting experience.
And you're going to be opening up on September 2nd. Are people still able to register if they want to join, or are you guys already booked up? How is that working?
Absolutely, they're still able to register. So on September 2nd, that is when our teams are starting. Our teams practice between 1.5 hours and 5 hours a week, and those are the ones that run from September all the way through to April. So everybody who wants to be on a team has to either attend team placements or set up an individual skills assessment, and then they're placed on a team based on their age and skill level. And then for our recreational classes, those are kind of a lower commitment for those that are just wanting to try it out or see what it's like, or have other commitments that they can't fully commit to a team. Those run in sessions. So our first session is starting the 3rd week of September. So there's still quite a bit of time to register for that one, and it will run for 13 weeks until the school break for Christmas.
And for people who are looking to register or just learn more, what's the best place for people to find information?
The best place would be our website. It's www.cheerforcejets.com. And they can also reach out to our email. It's lloyd@cheerforcejets.com.
Perfect. Well, thanks for taking some time to talk with me today, Viola. And I wish you guys the best of luck as you get ready to officially open next week.
Thank you very much.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
Similar to other sports, Football Alberta has announced the upcoming season will not have competition. Teams are still allowed to practice, but as Holy Rosary head coach Vince Oreo tells Evan Kenny, football will look different.
Joining me today is the head coach of the Holy Rosary Raiders football team, Vince Oreo. Vince, it's been a while since we last chatted. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Now, obviously, it's been a crazy time for everyone. Football is going to be getting going here soon. September 1st is the projected start date based on Football Alberta's guidelines. And as well, they say that the season is going to go until November 28th. Vince, I guess first and foremost, what do you think of this schedule and this timeline for a football season?
Yeah, so for right now, it's the season of play is September 1st to November 28th. But right now, all we can do is practice. There's no competition scheduled, so they've actually postponed all provincial championships until the government of Alberta moves to phase 3 of their reopen plan. And with that, then every school division or district across the province is setting their own parameters on when their athletes their students can participate in athletics. So it's varying around the province, where some school districts are allowing kids to start right away September 1st. Others want to see how kids do with the first couple of weeks of school with new protocols and measures, and then phase some athletics in. So it's going to be a different start than normal years.
Now, Vince, you mentioned it, that there won't be competition, at least to start the season off. For you, how are you planning on keeping the team focused and I guess ready for that competition for when it hits?
Yeah, so we're scheduled to review our start date right now. We're not going to do anything until at least September 14th. With the school start date pushed back to September 8th, we want to give students 3 or 4 days in the school, get used to the protocols, and then we'll revisit it on the 14th. As much as we want to get back to normal and get kids on the field and practicing, obviously their safety is paramount, and we want to make sure we've got all the measures in place to look after that. So we're in a rush, but we're not going to make any mistakes. We're going to do it the right way.
Now, Vince, just from looking at the Football Alberta protocols, most of them are fairly straightforward, especially in the world of athletics. One thing that did stand out to me, at least, was that it says athletes can't be participating in other sports and in other cohorts. Do you think that'll affect your team, or I guess really players just around the league?
Well, it's going to impact some. I mean, we encourage kids to be multi-sport athletes, so hockey season is going to start too. On our high school football team, we don't have many hockey players, but if a player says, hockey's starting first and I want to get involved in something, of course, we're going to respect that. If and when we're allowed to compete, then the cohort rules are probably going to disappear anyway, because you can't really have a 50-person cohort if you're allowing competition. So then the kids that are doing multiple sports should be able to participate in both. So I don't see it being a real negative impact to us.
And now my final question for you, Vince, is back on March 14th is when Football Alberta paused their operations. This, stopped different things like the U17 teams and the U18 teams. Do you think this will affect players' development coming into this season?
Most teams had virtual spring camps. We couldn't get on the field with them, but a lot of teams did some things online and went through playbooks and talked philosophy. The big thing is obviously the physical and getting out there and actually doing it. But kids are good. They're good athletes. They're resilient. As soon as we can get back going, I think they'll pick up right where they left off, and I'm not too concerned about it.
Vince, it's always a pleasure getting to chat with you, and best of luck in the next couple weeks here before school starts.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Now our Connor channel, take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Take a look at temperatures. Still sitting at that 20-degree mark right now. With 20 degrees, we see a little bit up in the northern areas of Cold Lake, Athabasca, Whitecourt. And as we move out west, Edson also sitting at 22 degrees. Edmonton sitting at 22 right now, with Red Deer at 23, as well as in Jasper. Over in the Saskatchewan areas, North Battleford is also see at 20 degrees, and then 21 for both Prince Albert and in Saskatoon, and then Melfort sitting at 19 degrees. La Loche and Buffalo Narrows sitting at 17 right now, with Walson Lake also following suit there. La Ronge sitting at 16, with South End at 18, and Flin Flon sitting at 20 degrees right now. Over in the northern Alberta areas, a little bit cooler and up in high level with 15 degrees. Fort Chipewyan sitting at 17, 18 degrees we see in Fort McMurray, and then Peace River sitting at 20 degrees, while Slave Lake sitting at 21. Now here's what we see in the southern areas right now. Lethbridge, very warm, sitting at 28 degrees, with Medicine Hat not far behind, sitting at 27. And then we see Calgary and Banff right there sitting at 24 degrees. The Coronation there sitting at 23. Along with Kindersley, we see at 22 degrees, with also following suit at Swift Current. Moose Jaw sitting at 24, and then Regina and Estevan both sitting at 23, with 21 out in Yorkton. Now, let's take a look across the rest of the country. A little bit sunnier days that we saw yesterday in some of the Midwest and prairie regions here. So Regina with some sun and cloud mix there. A little bit more cloud coverage in Winnipeg at 22 degrees. We see out in Toronto 22 degrees right now. And then Quebec City sitting at 20 with some sun in Halifax and 21. And then St. John sitting at 17 degrees right now. We see more sun in Vancouver there at high of 18 degrees. And still some cloud coverage in Edmonton. As of course, we did see some rain there yesterday with that high of 22 degrees. Yellowknife does have some rain right now with that high of 11, along with Whitehorse, while they have single digits sitting at 9 degrees. Now here's what we could see for tomorrow on Saturday. 18 degrees of daytime high there. We get a little bit cooler as we go out further west there, down Highway 16 into Vegreville and Vermilion and St. Paul as well. Marwayne and Bonnyville, Cold Lake sitting at 17 tomorrow, with 18 degrees also sitting in Edmonton tomorrow. With 18 degrees we'll see in Provost, and then 24 degrees tomorrow we'll see between that 24 to 25 degree range there in North Battleford, with 20 degrees in St. Walburg, and then 22 in Meadow Lake, and then 23 we'll see out in Green Lake. Now here's what we could see for the next 7 days. 14 degrees on Sunday with mostly cloudy skies, as well as heading into Monday, as we'll have a low of 3 degrees, which would be fairly cool for the most part. We will have a very heavy wind though on Tuesday. We could see over 30 kilometers an hour, maybe closer to 50 expected there for Tuesday with the sun and cloud mix as well. We'll have some showers on Wednesday with a 75% chance of some rain there. 17 on Thursday, and then we'll have clear skies again for Friday with high of 19 degrees. We average around 21 for our highs and averaging 7 for our lows around this time of year. But that is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after this.
I'm joined here with Susan Cambridge, and she is the founder of Lloydfest. Now, Lloydfest was held this past weekend, and how did the event turn out?
Amazing. In simple words, absolutely amazing. We were blessed with good weather to start with, and once you have good weather, you're good to go. Considering all the systems in place that had to happen before, given the COVID and everything else, the plan worked. That is having people come in, park their vehicles, all right? And the entertainment, the stage was there, the vendors were there, and the families in the vehicles were served. So all the vendors came to them, take their orders, almost as though a drive-through in those days. Took the orders, and people were just happy to eat and watch the entire event from the vehicles. And of course, the live stream was absolutely wonderful. I think we had something like over 20-something thousand viewers. We had the live stream in certain pockets, no doubt, but we had 18 performers on both days. So we had 18 different performances on both days, and so it was packed, it was tight. We had pre-recording videos. We had pre-recording videos from different parts of the world representing different countries, as well as we had an excellent job, and I can't emphasize too much, on 2 students from Holy Rosary who did some pre-production work on culture background, business in the community, and what it's like living in the city. So you've got to see those videos. We'll be putting it out there. So to give you just a purview of how things went, it was wonderful.
And how many people would you say really attended and came out on the weekend?
That's a trick question. And I'll tell you why. Our location was placed, right next to Walmart. It's on a main street, busy area. People came, people went, We had some boarding passes that we were giving out. So you would find that if you had a car that drove in, once you were over 18, you'd be given more than 1 boarding passes. So I can say that certainly we gave away most of the boarding passes. We have a couple hundred left. I haven't counted them all yet because we have to do the draw. But for the most part, I'll have to say the parking lot was never empty. And here's the thing, Jasmine. Because while people waited, you had such great entertainment, we were hoping that people would come, spend an hour, and then leave. It was hard for people to leave. They didn't really want to go, right? We didn't have any walk-ins, right? But I mean, there were other businesses that were open. So people were, while they're about their business, were taking in the show. For the most part, I would say absolutely well attended and good reviews, given the circumstances.
And you mentioned the vendors that you guys had down at the event. What was the success like, and what was people's feedback for that?
Well, for some vendors, they were a bit shy because not everybody culturally can go out to people. For me, I will sell anything. You just give me what the product is and I'm gone, right? So initially for some of the vendors, they were a bit shy, but I had some sales coaching to do. And eventually they caught up. So we had Jamaica, we had 2 different Filipinos, we had a sort of Asian Chinese fusion mix, we had Pakistan. So we had 5 vendors, food vendors and all. We had balloon artistry, we had some non-food vendors, and the scoop ice cream, wow. Well, that was a hit altogether. From the time kids came in and they saw the scoop, sign, and they went in. So people had to literally showcase what they had. So I encouraged them, go get business cards. The balloon artistry, I said, make something, walk around with it, and everybody caught it eventually. And I think people really appreciated the service coming to them. So that was a good thing.
What did people tell you and about the event and just the success of it?
Well, predominantly people said, Susan, you pulled this off. You pulled off probably the only event or festival in COVID, you know? And I said, yes, I did. But honestly, that is because I was committed to making the plan work. I had people committed working with me. And I think the quality of entertainment was amazing. And I mean, Jasmine, let's face it, if this was probably the only platform for people to showcase their talent, why not? So that is why people came from all over. But great reviews all along. People were amazed by all our local talent. And I think what happened too during COVID, a lot of people sampled their talent in their backyards, in their living room, and I caught up with it. And so I encouraged them to come down. So I met quite a few new talented people who lived in Lloyd. So that was awesome.
And what does it mean for you to have a place where you can showcase people's talents around Lloydminster and cultures from around the world?
Wow. Coming from a multicultural background, it's a real warm, fuzzy feeling because back at home, I was dubbed the social butterfly, right? And so I am just very warm and embracing to all different cultures. I love it. And being a journalist at that time and so on, human interest stories, how they live, what they did, what they ate, and that kind of stuff is what really, really gravitated me towards people. So to have this experience here in Lloydminster, I mean, this is a new country for me where I live and everything, to be able to share that and to be able to use my skills and experience and the passion that I have for it. Words can't express the joy that I feel in my heart.
Will we be seeing Lloydfest once again next year?
Well, girl, I would love to. I don't know what challenges would be ahead of me, but I think I'll definitely have to do a lot more networking to pull it out because I would like Lloydfest to be bigger and better. So I do have some tricks up my sleeves for making this a slightly different event next year. So keep posted. I'll stay connected.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Susan.
Thank you so very much. And without running away too soon, I would just like to thank everybody, our sponsors, the committed volunteers, any and everyone who had anything to do with Lloydfest this year, to you guys, Stingray, all the different agencies, SAS Health, the city, the MLAs, the mayor, everybody who helped us with their videos of greetings and so on. Thank you, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And of course, my family who keeps telling me, Mom, you're not doing this again next year. But hey, I'll be around.
The Bordertown Harley's owner group are putting on their 10th annual toy run on September 19th. They're collecting toys and cash for children and local charities around the Christmas season. $30 will get you a ride, banquet, and cabaret ticket. The event is open to all, and more information is found on the Bordertown Harley Facebook page. While you're enjoying the last few weeks of summer, make sure to come by and check out the Scoop located right beside the outdoor pool. And while you're here, make sure to check out their featured flavor with all proceeds going to the rescue squad. This is their last weekend of the 2020 season coming up, so don't forget to come by and check them out. Are you looking for a new book to read? Well, the Lloydminster Public Library has reopened their doors to the public for express service. Masks are mandatory while in the library, and certain areas are off limits to the public, but computer and internet access will be available. For a full list of information, you can go to lloydminster.info. And if you're looking to add a furry friend to your life, the Lloydminster and District SPCA is still holding their Name Your Price cat adoption event. It'll be running until Saturday. Whatever you choose to do, we hope you stay safe and have fun.
What's Open is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Well, once again, time for another entertainment panel. Joining me, as always, is Abby St. John. Now, Abby, one of the big news is from technically last weekend, but when DC Fandom had their event last weekend, one of the big things that came out of it was the first look at Matt Reeves' The Batman, which, of course, has been in development for a while, and it was halted in production because of COVID. Now that we finally saw our first bit of what we're going to expect, what are your general thoughts on the trailer?
Well, I'll start by explaining what I thought previously before seeing the trailer. I had my doubts about Robert Pattinson playing Batman just because we've seen so many different types of Batman over the year. But once I saw the trailer, I really bought into it, and I have full confidence in him portraying Bruce Wayne and Batman. Now, looking at the trailer, just kind of breaking down some of the details into it. It seems like this film is going to focus a lot around the Riddler. Now, he is an iconic villain to Batman, so it's going to be interesting to see him when we're used to kind of seeing the characters like the Joker in it as well. We're also going to see Penguin as well. That'll be interesting to see how he plays a role in it. And of course, we're going to see Catwoman played by the amazing Zoe Kravitz. So it's going to be interesting to see those villains come to life in this movie. But going back to the Riddler, who is portrayed by Paul Dano, he seems to be the main focus of this movie. And in the beginning of the trailer, you'll see how you see a villain who we're assuming is the Riddler, who he had just killed someone who I suspect is the mayor of Gotham, or could be someone in higher authority in Gotham. He is killed, and around his face is taped with the words "No more lies." So I think that's going to be a central focus of the film. He wants the lying to stop, he wants the corruption to stop, and he's signaling the Batman to come for him. He is directly addressing him with letters and notes, saying, "From your secret friend," and inside the note you'll see in one of the cards it says, "What does a liar do when he's dead?" And the code or the answer to that is in ciphered and encoded. So that's going to be interesting to see what that does to Bruce Wayne within the film, having to deal with that. And it does say that if he wants justice, please do not lie. That's what the Riddler says, and that's what he wants to happen. If you stop lying, the killing will stop happening. So that's going to be really awesome to see, interesting to see what happens with the Riddler. I'm very excited to see what happens, because definitely very creepy, very different, very dark, which is what Batman is. It is a very dark kind of film because Batman is kind of a dark superhero. Going on with the Penguin, we don't really know much about him as he's only shown once in the film. However, he's played by Colin Farrell, and you will not be able to recognize him as Penguin. His makeup, the prosthetics that he wears, they made him unrecognizable, which I think is pretty cool as well, because no one knew, is that really Colin Farrell? But it is, and I think that's awesome. And then the Catwoman, you see that the Batman and the Catwoman get into a couple fights throughout the film, but other than that, there is not much known about her character or what she's going to bring to the movie. Now, with Batman, going off the main character and what this film is all about, like I said earlier, I was unsure about Robert Pattinson playing Batman before, but now I have full confidence in him. He reminds me of Christian Bale and that Batman, especially when they're Bruce Wayne. He has that kind of same look, same attitude, but with a little bit more of a darker twist. And now what really got me with this trailer and with this movie, you know, the iconic line when he's asked, "Who are you?" when he's wearing the mask, and he says, "I'm Batman." That's an iconic line that you hear in a lot of Batman movies. But instead of saying that, he says, "I'm vengeance," which really kind of concretes who Batman is and why he became Batman. That's the whole reason why Bruce Wayne created Batman, to get vengeance on the innocent who keep on, or he gets vengeance by destroying the villains that are trying to corrupt Gotham and to kind of destroy the city. So that really just like creates who Batman is by saying, instead of I'm Batman, he says I'm vengeance, which is who Batman is as a whole.
Yes, absolutely. There's lots to, of course, break down with that trailer. And lastly, Abby, just before we wrap things up, new movies, of course, are finally starting to make its way into theaters, including here in May Cinema, including movies like Tenet and The New Mutants. So just talk about how exciting this could be for us to finally see something new here.
It's very exciting. It's definitely a huge step forward for us as a society because, you know, for the past several months, we've had theaters closed. We aren't able to see brand new movies, as a lot of myself and a lot of other people were fans of going to the theater. It's the whole experience is what makes it. So it's very exciting that they're gonna have new movies coming in. They have The New Mutants, which if you watch the trailer, it looks fantastic. The new SpongeBob movie is coming in. Tenet Early Access is going to be playing, which is also super exciting. We have talked about Tenet on here before and how it's all practically shot, no CGI, no green screen. So everything you see actually happened, which is amazing, and I'm very excited about it. And then Unhinged has been playing for a bit. It is still playing in theaters, and you can find all of their show times on their website as well.
Absolutely. Well, Abby St. John, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. 18 degrees tomorrow for Saturday, 14 on Sunday there. We'll see some more cloud coverage continuing on Monday with that high of 17, but we'll also see a low of 3 degrees. We'll have a lot of wind, though, on Tuesday. It's expected to get up to over 30 kilometers an hour winds. And then 16 degrees for Wednesday, with a 75% chance of some showers there. And then 17 on Thursday with sun and cloud mix. And then clear skies again for Friday with that high of 19 degrees.
Thanks for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.